Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing an Astra guide for Lotus, so yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm just going to start with the basics on attack on A. So the first kind of smoke you could do is you can actually put a smoke down here, and I suggest you fake the smoke, because it kind of pops up and then you keep your star. Obviously you want to be crossing quickly off this smoke. Wouldn't recommend permanently smoking it there unless you have two controllers. For example, if you have a Viper can kind of wall off stairs and this close side here, and you can invest a smoke in crossing in case you're worried they could go and fight for A main control. That's a good early smoke you could do. Obviously smoking stairs is good as well, just like so. And another thing you could actually do is kind of just put a star like here. And I recommend putting it just on the outside of the door so the people playing entry can't see it. You can actually kind of open this door and pop your smoke up, and then as it's coming down, you can kind of like catch someone off guard, like if you're peeking out the smoke as it's faking. And then the other smoke you want to be doing is just one kind of here. The other places you can put your smoke as well, you can put one here if you plan to kind of play a little bit further back. And you don't want to like push this far up and try and like get a pick here, or you don't want to play for any sort of control. Just plop a smoke down here, and depending on where you plant, if you plant for main or you plant for tree, just pop whatever remaining star you have, and as you hear the tap, you can just put a circ, and this will take them off the bombs, so you don't have to peek right away, and you can just simply wait for the next tap, and this is really good for playing for time as well. So yeah. And I'll give you a few more smokes you can do. If you want to kind of like fake it, maybe like break the door into B, you can smoke this off as well and just kind of break the door like this. Or if you want, you can put a star on top of here, and you can also have a one-way into drop as well, kind of like a little one-way. Not a crazy one, but you can kind of put a smoke down like this as well. It covers a little bit more too, so it's not a bad smoke to do. But yeah, those are the additional two smokes, and we're going to get on to a little attack-sided A wall for A, and then we'll go on to B and C. So for your Astral, you kind of want to mimic the Viper wall that you can do, and I just kind of recommend like, putting it around here, and plopping it down here. And this just covers all the stairs, This is like the perfect kind of Astral. Covers off heaven, covers off stairs, and then you can kind of combine that with this smoke on top of this box like so, and you kind of just have a free sight, I guess. Obviously you still need to clear back sight out, and have someone clear tree, which you can fake smoke your way into. But this is an extremely good attack setup for it as well, just if you have your Astral. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to play B and C, and we'll go on to defense. So for B on Astra, there's a few things you can do. If you want to clear out anyone behind this box, other than just wallbanging it, because sometimes that's not enough, you could maybe invest a circ early, and this will suck them out of the box, although I do think this is a little bit of a waste. You can do the same with this corner as well, stun it off. Just make it a little bit easier. And also, obviously you could do the same on there, you can stun and circ back, so I don't really recommend using this like here, mainly just a stun I would do. And you could do the same for drop if someone wants to take drop, but I would kind of just save your util for post plant, mainly on this map, because I just think it's so effective. And just for your smokes, I just want to pop one down here, and kind of pop one down just there. And the reason I would put it down A-Link is because the amount of people that will be pushing through A-Link for a retake will be usually more than people up CT. And obviously you always have to smoke your stairs, because that's just a big elevation that you kind of need to worry about. So once both these smokes are up, you should be good. There is a Viper wall if you are playing double controller that can kind of cut this whole thing off, and you can just smoke off CT in that case. But if you are playing solo smoke, these are kind of the two places I would smoke mainly. And obviously, depending on where you plant, usually it's going to be here. You could just put like a star down if you still have one, and then just suck them off the bomb. And yeah, it should be easy. I'm going to show you a few little Astrals for B, just starting with this one. And this kind of just slices off the whole map, but this is a good little attack wall for B, to be honest, because this kind of cuts off like CT, cuts off up here, and then you could obviously just smoke off Link off of that. So yeah, as you can see, you don't have to worry about stairs or upper and CT anymore, and Link will be smoked off. And this is like just a way to really isolate this site. But the one thing I would say about this wall is if you are doing a split and anyone's trying to default, I don't think it's very good, because you know, if they just, it kind of entices them to push down 8 main a little bit, and it cuts off C and A as well. But if you're just doing a 5-man B hit, is a good Astra ball that I would recommend using. So for C, because of the new update, it's a little bit more complicated as there's so close left, and backside is kind of a lot more deep, especially with this box here. Like, there could be a lot more sort of off angles and things where people could be playing. But just to start off with the 2 basic smokes, you're obviously going to want to smoke off Waterfall and CT, like so. And if you don't have any Skydogs or whatever, you could like stun kind of here if you wanted to, or whatnot. If you felt like it, just like put a little stun down on top of this box. I do think it's a little bit of a waste. If I was to use it, I would kind of use it sort of around this area here. You know, it'll easily just clear them out. And if you have someone going fast, they'll either be stunned or they'll be like walking back, and you can catch them off guard off that. Especially if you have like a nade or something as well to pair off with that stun. You could also like kind of throw a nade and maybe suck like kind of here to force them into the nade if you wanted to. It's kind of up to you how you want to use your util here. There's not really too many crazy smokes you could do, and your post plant util is kind of going to depend on how you plant. So if you planted for mound, which you can still do just from here, obviously you're going to use your suck to get them off the plant. And then obviously maybe you can kill them while they're being sucked, or you can, you know, play time, it's up to you. And obviously if you plan a default, you can just kind of put your suck around here, and you can kind of just like hide your way, because you can kind of get here and they have to kind of jump up just to see you. And then you can kind of like, obviously I'm going to make noise like I just did. You can kind of suck, you know, delay a little bit more time, hide a little bit more, and then you can kind of just jiggle peek your way up and whatnot. You know, and then kill them. So that's kind of just like the basics of how I'd use my util. You could obviously put a stun kind of back there as well, because lots of people like to play here. So you could do that if you wanted to as well. And for Astrals, if you're kind of taking sight, I would kind of do this one. And this kind of cuts off Waterfall and CT, so it's not too bad. But what I do recommend is, if you're doing that, you can maybe put a smoke down just right here to really block it. But the only con with this wall is they get like a little bit of space, you know, they can kind of play and hide behind here. So instead of that Astral, there's actually one you could do for post plant, and it's kind of just a little bit like this. So they get more of the site, but you don't really have to worry about anything. And I recommend kind of doing this Astral if you want to just play for a mound plant. And I kind of just recommend doing it like this, off this corner, so they can't like sneak around too much without being seen. And this kind of just, you know, allows you to just really isolate this plant here, and then you can kind of all go back into mound off this wall. You know, if they do open this door, you'll be able to still see it, so you don't have to worry about them flanking like from the door. And obviously if you have someone holding flank or a PC, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you can kind of all just play mound off this plant, and then you can use like, you can put like a suck and a stun down if you want to, just to delay even more. So yeah, and then you can obviously, another thing I like to do as well is I kind of like to have like a little smoke down here for the close plant, just because people like to peek you from like around here and underneath here. So this kind of smoke, and the reason I do it on the left is just so people like can't walk out without getting killed. And it just kind of really allows you to just isolate those fights mound, just try and secure the round for your team. So that's kind of how I would play attack C, and those are all the attack ults I would really use. And yeah, I'm going to show you how to defend now. So for defending A, there's kind of like thousands of possibilities you could do. So if you want to play a little bit more aggressive, you can like, you know, maybe suck as your raise nades or something like this, and this is like a really good combo. But if you're going to suck or stun this, I would kind of do it, and then I would fight, and then I would put a smoke down here to really just take this space. And then you have like all of A main, so you know it could only be B or C. So you can kind of like hold your smoke maybe with one other player and have the other 3 players kind of governing the other 2 sites. So you could play like this. If they've taken a little bit more space, this is just like the standard defense smoke I would do. And then I would kind of like smoke this as well, if it's a full A hit, if you know. So those are kind of defense smokes I would use. If you are playing Judge though, you could obviously put a smoke down here and play in your smoke, or even if you have a phantom or whatever, if you want to play for tree, you can smoke like that if you want to. And for your other stars, you could use it to kind of delay their plant if you know where they're going to plant. It's kind of up to you what you want to do with it, really, to be honest. There's not awful lot you could really do to stop them too much. You could kind of do like a little double here, or like a double there, or you kind of like smoke and circ or whatever. You could do that too, depending on how, if you want to play aggressive, if you want to play a little bit further back. And if they have got the site, the standard retake wall I would do if you have Astra would kind of be where you would smoke. So you would kind of just wall off like this. But if you don't have your wall, you can just smoke off tree and you can just smoke off main as well. But the best part about this wall is, you know, if they're tree, they've kind of all got a PQ at once. You know, you could have someone kind of holding like this, you know, you can have someone holding like from here. And this can kind of get both kind of areas and whatnot. And you can really get that diffuse off. So yeah, but do bear in mind what util they have though, because they could obviously spam util through the ult if it's planted for tree or whatever. So yeah, do bear that in mind too. You might want to take a little bit of space off your wall, but they can't really hate you when you defuse, so that's the strength of it. But if you don't have your wall, you could just kind of retake smoke just like this. And this is super good. Obviously I did it a little bit quite far out, but if you want, someone can play in their smoke, or you can smoke it a little bit deeper. You know, I'll wait for it to go, but you can kind of smoke it. So the start of the smoke, it's just from here, so it's kind of up to you. And yeah, on to C and B. So for B, if you're playing B, I kind of recommend breaking this door early and obviously putting like a really deep smoke down there, and you can have this really quick angle into rubble or whatever. So this is a good place to play, and the only thing you kind of really need to do is just put like a smoke down. If you want, you could put a star down as well, and that's kind of like how you would hold it. But I do recommend, if you are playing beyond Astra, you do support your teammates on A with your util, and you fight as well with them. But if you know it's B, you can just put a smoke down, and you have a very, very easy rotate into B whenever you kind of want, just around this area. So yeah, for an Astral though, you're gonna kind of want it a little bit like this, just kind of around here ish. And the reason I do it so deep is because it kind of cuts off all of sight. Obviously if they kind of plant it a little bit further out, you don't want to do this, but usually the plant will be here, and it just means they have to kind of walk all the way up if they kind of want to have any sort of influence on doing diffusing. So this is a good little wall. Just, you do need someone watching it though as well. So yeah, you could also put it like a little bit less deeper if you wanted to, you know, kind of like this if you wanted to. But I don't really recommend it because you kind of want like the link to be covered. But yeah, I wouldn't really use the wall on B too often because it's kind of hard, because they can spam you from so many angles, and lots of people kind of like to take a lot of space on B, so you could always have a guy on your spawn ready to catch you off. So yeah, I don't really recommend always walling on B, but you can if you want to. So if you're defending C, which I don't always recommend doing on Astra, obviously you could maybe, like, if you want to fight for mound, you can kind of smoke like that, or you can smoke kind of on top of here. It's kind of whatever you want. So that's kind of what you can do for just fighting for mound. But if you want to play a little bit more far back, you can obviously smoke off main like this if you wanted to. And as well, if you want to really hold for backside, you know, you can kind of start the round up here, and you can kind of smoke yourself off if you would like. You know, they're not going to expect it. And from their point of view, it kind of blocks off a little bit of backside, you know, so you might be able to play off this quite well. If you're on top of this box, you can get like a really good timing on someone, or a really good spam. So that's another place you could play to kind of catch them off guard. But that's kind of all you can really do. If, like, obviously you can, you know, stun and suck for a retake if, you know, they planted around here. But for a retake wall, it kind of depends where they plant. If they planted for mound, I would kind of just wall off straight across like this. But this is only if they planted for mound. And if you want, you can smoke off the bomb as well, just to make it even harder for them to see you. And a good retake wall if they planted default is just kind of one like this. I wouldn't do it too deep, but you could just kind of cut off half the side like so, and you can just kind of focus these parts here and get the diffuse off like this with this wall. But this is only for if they planted like default, which most of the time they are. If they planted for mound, be the first retake wall, because obviously this wall is pointless if they planted mound. So yeah. Anyway guys, I'll be kind of concluding the Astra Lotus guide. Obviously I've seen a few suggestions and I will be doing some KO guides soon, but in terms of Astra I will be doing one more guide, so stay tuned for that, and I will be doing KO guides on most of the maps, probably starting with Ascent, so stay tuned for that, and bye, see you next time.